welcome back to Zekism. it's good to be back. As you may have heard if you watch my wrestling channel, yes, I've been away for summer in terms of making content. It was good for have a break. Summer holidays. I am a parent. We had a bit of illness when we got back from holiday as well, so I'm back. And I feel like the last story I covered before I had my little sabbatical was about business dealings in Hollywood, and here we are with one. We come back to one again with Warner Brothers Discovery, the studio predominantly, facing a buyout potentially from Paramount Skydance. So Paramount Skydance, was it long protracted? But anyway, Skydance, the financing company, purchased Paramount with the president's approval, the government approval, and yet now they've got their eyes on Warner Brothers Discovery, and this comes to us via BBC News. Shares in Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount Skydance have surged following reports that Paramount Skydance is preparing an offer to buy the rival studio. The reported bid would be for the entire Warner Brothers Discovery business, which includes networks CNN, HBO, and the film studio behind Barbie and Harry Potter. The deal would mark further consolidation in the US media industry, which has been dramatically reshaped by the rise of streaming, so that's Prime and Netflix predominantly, and comes as media firms face scrutiny from President Donald Trump's administration. Warner Brothers Discovery declined to comment. Paramount Skydance did not respond to a request for comment. The potential offer from Paramount Skydance was first reported in the Wall Street Journal. I think it's important to remember this won't be the only offer then. If they are entertaining offers for Warner Brothers, which has been struggling for a while financially, but they've had a good year in the box office, weirdly. But I think it's widely acknowledged that when Discovery purchased it was more just an organizational method for a resell. The firm is led by David Ellison, whose father, Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison, briefly became the world's richest man this week. So I think I'm not the only person to say this. I think the industry is widely acknowledged that David Ellison here is the son, or he's he owns Skydance essentially. He runs Skydance, and his dad is one of, if not the richest person in the world. He overtook Elon Musk briefly, I believe. So essentially, I don't want to say he's playing with daddy's money, but you can read between the lines in terms of where that financing, where Skydance get their money from. Skydance have been working with Paramount for a long time though, financing a lot of their business operations, and they're financing a lot of their films. So the inevitable takeover that they had, and they just needed government approval, which they got by from the president himself. It comes just weeks after the completion of Paramount Skydance's own $8 billion, which is £5.89 billion, if you were wondering, their merger, in which David Ellison's independent movie studio Skydance purchased Paramount, home of the CBS News network and hits such as Yellowstone. Mr. Ellison is also reportedly closing in on a plan to buy the Free Press, a digital media outlet co-founded by Barry Weiss, or Vice. Warner Brothers Discovery shares closed up to 29% on Thursday, whilst Paramount closed up 16%. Wall Street Journal reported that a bid had not been submitted and the plan could fall apart. David Ellison has been in the film business since dropping out of University of South Carolina roughly 2 decades ago, eventually earning his own reputation in Hollywood as a producer on films such as Top Gun Maverick and World War Z. His father, an ally of Trump, this week briefly overtook Elon Musk as the world's richest person, worth more than $380 billion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Trump earlier this year floated his name as a potential TikTok buyer. The Paramount takeover plunged his son into politics as well. The deal faced a lengthy approval process due to a row over Trump's legal battle with CBS. Over a Kamala Harris interview he alleged had been edited to favour the Democrats. Paramount eventually agreed to pay the settlement of $60 million. We covered that last month. Settlement did not include a statement of apology or regret, and Democrats have accused the payment of a bribe. The relevance of that now may be coming to fruition when we hear about them potentially trying to buy Warner Brothers. Obviously you need government approval for the merger as well. Disney had to do it with Fox, the Fox purchasing, which, well, we could discuss that in a future video, how well that's gone. Announcing the approval of the deal, the government said Skydance had committed to ensure its programming would embody a diversity of viewpoints. end Paramount's diversity programs, and appoint an ombudsman to review complaints of bias. Ahead of the approval, Paramount said that The Late Show with Stephen Colbert would end its run in May 2026. The move drew questions from Democrats about whether the cancellation was due to political reasons, which the firm denied. Of course they did. Paramount in July also announced a 5-year deal to air the satirical adult series South Park on the streaming network, poaching the show from HBO. Again, that's going to be a needless poach at this point. But Warner Bros. Discovery is the product of a 2022 merger. Since the deal, it has struggled with debt and made significant job cuts. The company said earlier this year it planned to split the business, dividing its streaming brands from its more traditional cable television business. The South Park one, just to dovetail for a second, is interesting because in light of recent the Charlie Kirk thing in the last couple of days, South Park were parodying Kirk on their program, and they've been delaying the episode releases as a result. Well, allegedly, or speculation has mounted, it was as a result of political pressure. We don't know that for sure, but certainly we can see who runs Paramount Skydance at this point. We can see the link between them purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery, and I think to offer an op-ed or an editorial, it would be a shame, I think, if Paramount were, this is a financing, Skydance purchasing Paramount was a financing company who were essentially masquerading as a production company, but essentially they're purchasing a studio, which is not the most far-fetched of deals to do, and you can see where them financing potential future projects would come from. Them purchasing Paramount Skydance purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery, maybe more the Warner Brothers side of things more so than Discovery, would be, I think, a shame, because it means you get more homogenization, you get less content, less diversification of content. If you think about, if you go to the cinema, you've got a release from this studio and this studio and this studio. As we've seen with Disney purchasing Fox, the Fox output has been minimal with that. I mean, they treat Fox as sort of like their independent studio bit. Alien and Predator projects aside, I'm trying to think, there's a new Ice Age coming out, which technically is Warner Brothers, but there's been minimal content coming through from Fox, curiously. So you take that, extrapolate that, for Paramount and Warner Brothers, which is all about content purchasing at this point, let's be honest. Skydance being the big media giant that they are now with Paramount, potentially having Warner Brothers Discovery, which is all the HBO Max stuff under their roof as well. You can see, internationally, again, without going off into a tangent, internationally, HBO Max isn't available. We don't have HBO Max for international audiences. I don't believe so. Certainly we don't in the UK. But it's only in America, I think, you get HBO Max. Everywhere else, they sell the content to distributors directly. And that's a sort of, I guess, a financing move from their part. Paramount Plus, is available internationally. You can get that everywhere. So them folding in the Warner Brothers content into Paramount Plus makes Paramount Plus a lot more attractive, and I guess challenges Disney Plus. Disney Plus is an international behemoth now. They've got Hulu under their auspices as well now. It's not Star anymore. It's going to become Hulu. Disney are making moves with ESPN. This is all business moves related to streaming and distribution content, but I think, for my money, it's the worst case scenario. I think I've heard elsewhere as well would be if Netflix got into it and they decided to buy Warner Brothers, because if Netflix buy Warner Brothers, Netflix aren't interested in cinemas whatsoever. We know this. They're not interested in making films for cinemas. They're interested in making substandard films, let's be perfectly honest, for their streaming services. And I think the issue is what the less options means less work for people, I guess, vicariously. It means less content for the audiences, such as you and me. And I think it's a shame we've seen all these studios purchase. Even Disney buying Fox. As a Marvel fan, yes, we get the X-Men, but other than that, it was Disney owning a lot of IP, and so you've seen them sort of house IP and shelve it. I'm a big Muppets fan. Disney ruined the Muppets. You're just sitting on the IP doing little to nothing with it, and they're doing a lot with the Fox IP in a similar vein. So I think Paramount owning Warner Brothers means, I mean, what does that mean for James Gunn? You'd think they would just let him get on with it, but you don't know. People have agendas. James Gunn is... My point is, are we seeing a increase in political pressure on movie studios? I'm sure some would argue or cheer that. Some others would disagree and think that's a bad thing. But it's interesting. I find the business moves interesting, if not concerning. It does mean Harry Potter's would go to Paramount if this goes through. But it is interesting. And I think there's no smoke without fire. So the fact we're seeing this is probably... There's probably something to it. What do you think? Are you interested at all? I do not bother. Let me know in the comment section below. Leave me a like or subscribe on the channel, and it's good to be back. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.